seated. So let's come to the, wherever you like in your mat. In this Hatha actually asana, a lot of them, they don't use yoga mats, right? So I'm gonna sit on my heels because the second pose we do is down dog. So I'm gonna start by, stretching out the front of my ankles because the down dog is gonna get more of that, you know, back body. So this is the front body, okay? So it's sitting up nice and tall. This Hatha practice starts with breath work, maybe taking a moment to ground, sitting up tall. I like to roll the shoulders up, back, and down. I tend to like overarch my back while some people round. Just notice your tendency and kind of neutralize a little bit more. Ears over shoulders, over hips, over feet. Big inhales in your nose. Slow exhale. And this is the actual kind of original practice that incorporated the Ujjayi breathing. So it's this slight restriction in the lower throat. If you want to be technical, it's the glottis. And it creates this restriction. So it's like you're breathing in and out your mouth, but the mouth is closed. And you hear this whisper. So you're closing the airway slightly so the air pressure becomes stronger. Think of a hose. If you were to like put a kink in a hose, where that energy is, it makes the hose like tighter. So the Ujjayi breath is a strength, controlled based breath. They call it the warrior's breath. If you'd like to add, last part here, it's the big inhale. Hold your breath. Squeeze your pelvic floor in and up. Pull your belly in and up. Roll your shoulders a little bit back and down. And pull your chin back and tuck your chin. So those are the bandha work in the kumbhak. Really classic Hatha yoga, guys, for, as the yogis say, charging your batteries. Exhale. So what we're doing is taking a big inhale slowly, following, meditating on the breath. We're going to hold that full inhalation. You're going to squeeze your pelvic floor, pull your abdomen in and up, pull your head back, and slightly tuck your chin. So we bring energy in, we lock it in, and we let it just stay in there and energize the cells. Go slow, exhale. I'd like you to do maybe like 2 more. Right, we know, yogis, that it's that oxygen that our cells are using to burn our nutrients to create cellular energy, even on just a more kind of, practical level. The yogis both talk about that and this modern scientist, the coupling, right? The coupling of nutrients and oxygen to create cellular energy. It's a lot of research being done. How can we get our body to optimize the oxygen use at the cellular level to create energy? And there's a lot of people doing now the breath holds, even in like the modern, what they call biohacking, where we're always holding the breath. We're getting better at that process of holding the breath. It trains your cells to use oxygen different because it's almost like you're cutting it off for a few moments, okay? Second position, downward facing dog. Take your time because this is about 1.5 minute, 2-minute hold. Use movement to wake up the body. Sometimes I'll shift my weight to a hand and kind of shake my wrists out. After you warm up via movement, lift your sit bones up and back, press your palms down, let your head hang low, and then just go back to breath work. So if you're just joining, it's a specific style. I'm pretty sure we did it last week too. It's called Hatha Asana. It's a little bit more just being in postures. You can move a little bit, especially initially, you can add things, I don't mind. But in the big Hatha Asana classes, they say a pose and you work on the form, little alignment, little adjustments, but discipline a little bit more. So less fidgeting, more breathing and subtle body work. Sometimes vinyasa, we get very kind of big oriented in the body. Let's be subtle today a little bit more. So maybe you're done with your movements, refine, pressing the inner thumb and index finger down, maybe so much you can lift your pinky a little bit, so you're leaning the weight inward. Roll the upper outer tricep down, try to straighten the elbow a little bit more, try to relax the neck, Try to lift the upper body out of the arms. Don't get heavy in the shoulder girdle. Pull the ribs in a little bit, lengthen through the side bodies. Notice if you round or arch, do the opposite a little bit. Try to engage your legs a little bit more. Roll the inner thighs kind of back and out. Now we're getting detailed. And then the feet are the same. Try to press the big toe down a little bit more. Even you can lift the pinky toe a little bit. So there's some of your, complexities of down dog. And eventually it's like, boom, all that at once. And it might be just for a moment, then you relax a little. And then boom, all that at once. Once you know all the cues, you apply them all at once. Next posture is plank. So it is a long time weight bearing on the arms. Don't worry, the weight comes off the arms after this. I'll even tell you, it's forward bend Uttanasana, right? So you can really work a strong plank. Now, so just to warm up sake, you could bend the elbows a little bit. So a bent arm plank is just another type of plank. And then you can straighten the arms. I like to do those slow holding, pause, and push-ups. Bend. And then straighten. We got about another 40 seconds in the plank. Your call how you're going to do it. Maybe you want to switch it up and go to your forearms. Maybe you're feeling really good, you come up on the fingertips. Maybe you're feeling really good, you want to hover a foot. It just depends. A plank. Breath work, meditative qualities, engaging muscles you're not engaging enough. That's a really good place to practice that as plank. So a lot of people don't use their legs. Squeeze your butt and your thighs, okay? That'll take a lot of pressure off the shoulders in the long run. Shift the shoulders a little bit more forward over the fingers, not over the wrists. Bring weight into the fingers, not into the heel of the hand, okay? See if you could even use things like your calves, like the back of your legs, because the tension, it's on the front body. The body's trying to lengthen, you're not allowing it to. So the tensed muscles are looking for help, and all muscles are connected, right? The fascial system. Okay, big inhale, guys. Down dog, walk your hands to the back of your mat. Now you take the pressure off the arms. Big inhale, we're gonna lengthen. Okay, and then take a few breaths here. Option to pull on your heels, option to do your shoulder stretch. After having your arms weight bearing above your head and in front of your chest, it might be nice to bring your arms behind you. Not too long of a hold, good maybe 40 more seconds. You know what to do. Try to let your head hang low. Think of it like headstand. We talked about it in the inversion workshop, how this is one of our substitutes for a headstand inversion because it's bringing blood flow to the crown, whereas dog is frontal lobes, child pose is frontal lobes. So headstand substitute is Uttanasana. Okay, 20 more seconds, guys. Now, go slow, right? Bending knees, hands release. We're right into chair pose. So it's posture, right into another posture. You add your little releases in between, okay? So chair, first round, let's go arms up again. That's the same arm position as down dog, but not weight bearing. So now you can do the exact same things, but I'd rather have you practice a little bit more hyper lateral. So try to turn your palms to face each other. Bend the knees really deep and reach the arms really high. Straighten the arms more. So flex your hips more, flex your shoulders more. Extend your elbows more, but flex your knees more. So sit lower, reach higher, okay? 3 to 4 more breaths here. Not too long of a hold for now. So go really intense. In the ancient yoga scriptures, one of them, the Purunas, they're really huge books, and one of the great yogis is always like, try to find these really moments of intensity in your practice, okay? Let's stand up nice and tall, please. Now, this is called Kali Mudra. Arms are still up, but now we bind. Intertwine your fingers, palms together, index finger release, feet together, arms up. So straighten your arms right outside those ears, see? Right from the side, boom, okay? Now, engage your glutes, thighs, reach up. It's just a little side bend to hold. Postural work. Your hips can go a little left too. Just notice, yogis, my weight's in my toes. I'm still pressing the padding of my big toe down. And I'm reaching up out of the body. I can bend a lot deeper here. Some days I might. It depends on, how I'm feeling. Situation. I overslept last night. I slept like 10 hours. So I, overslept. I feel like I underslept almost. Let's come back to center. Switch your fingers, opposite pinky in front, index finger release. So it's like that. I need to see your palms together, yogis. That is the whole hand strength, okay? Arms straighten, palms together, and side bend. Breathe. You can only bend as far as you're going to be able to hold the tension, the strength. Just like we do Cobra sometimes, we're not using like the hands in Cobra, okay? Weight into the heels, spiral your chest a little up to the right if you're bending to the left, but your right hip must go forward too. Weight into your heels, engage your legs, and you're lifting up. Now go very slow, right? Inhale back to center. Through Tadasana, maybe at the top of your mat's a good place to be. Left foot steps back. Lunge. A little bit different for the arms. Inhale, arms high. Eagle, left arm under right. So it's left arm swings under, intertwine your forearms. Just to be clear, I do want you to be very active here, yogis, in your arms. So press through your palms, pull apart your elbows, bend the knee. Reach your arms higher, but don't like overstrain how high you can reach, right? You can take it to a little back bend if you want. A few more breaths. A meditation. So big fascial thing here. I mentioned this word fascia a lot. You guys know your skeletal body, your bones, right? You guys know your muscular body. You guys all know that stuff. But there's a third body system that's not talked about as much that connects these two. Fascial system. That's literally what connects your muscles and bones, and it's another name for it is connective tissue. So this is like a webbing, a net that's holding all this together, right? Let's go, guys. Step forward, inhale, arms up. Right foot back. Right arm under left. Eagle, lunge here, guys. Okay. Just make sure you have some core integrity. Take your time. So we're in the second side lunge with an eagle stretch, okay? A meditation now, yogis. Breathe, activate, but kind of be light. Notice how your body tends to have patterns. Do you shift too much weight back in the legs or forward? Try to be nice and equal distributed. Notice if you get heavy through the core, try to lift a little bit. Now I want you to go slow. Back up, arms up, hands down, Tadasana, tree posture. Left knee lifts. If you want more, you could do this one. If you want more, bind the hands. Stand up tall, lift the knee. If you're good at it, the goal is balance, so close your eyes. If it's too easy, either variation. Remember that this is going to be a much more strengthening, hip strengthening form. If you really drive through your standing leg and you stand up, you can feel how much your butt turns on. Anytime I'm trying to teach somebody to activate their butt, you're looking at like really long bridge holds. Sometimes you get people who've been frontline dominant for like their whole life. And no matter what you do, the butt won't really fire well. This is one of the main ones you do. You have people like hold like this. All right. It's just hold, hold, hold. And you have them pump a little bit. It's kind of a glute exercise that's under the radar. Okay. Second side, please. I like to hold this on my wobble board. As you get lazy, try to drive through your standing heel and leg and lift that right knee higher. Remember that we're always kind of stretching just as much as we're strengthening. So if you tend to be a little lighter in the postures, the first goal is to activate. When you get good at activating, it's actually to be easier, right? So people work in headstands, handstands. It's like, boom, active, active, active. Then it's like, okay, we're wasting energy. We're straining. Let's relax. It's the same principle in all postures. Back down to standing, guys. Chair pose, a little bit different. Arms forward. Think of it like a plank, right? But then bend your knees. Turn your palms up, please. So it's like you're holding a platter, all right? That's gonna help you sit a little bit lower, and then challenge today. Come forward onto the balls of your feet, lift your heels. You know I like to teach this one? It's classic Hatha Yoga. You're gonna feel how much that shifts to stabilizing around the front. This is one of my, what I call like the standard leg exercises. It's the toe balance bent knee. It's really not done a lot in yoga and fitness. We need to be on the balls of the feet, teaching our toes to fire. That's going to change how we walk if we're heel heavy. All right? Learning to activate the toes and walking will show take pressure off the lower back. So we're in that toe balance chair. All right? Really good stuff, guys. Go slow. Heels down, stand up. A little bit different. Hands intertwined behind the head, elbows wide. Left foot steps back, a little bit different in our lunge as well. Front knee bends, but now back knee bends. Back knee hovers like an inch. So you can see I'm trying to bring almost my knees into two 90-degree angles. Open the elbows, relax your shoulders down, and twist to the right. From your core, it's not going to be a very big twist. Notice my hips didn't move or my legs. My legs are sturdy, supporting, and I twist from my core to the right. I open my elbows, I take 3 more breaths. Now, you can get some real intense stuff happening here. Try to relax a little bit, activate, but also be easy on your body. So I have you right now twisting right. If your right knee's forward, you twist right. Kind of a general thing we do, right? Right knee forward, twist right. The open hip is next. Okay, back to center, step forward. If you'd like, a little lift in your heart. We're gonna bind our opposite pinky on top. I know it's hard to hold the shoulders there. Okay, pec minor, reciprocal inhibition. Right foot back, please. A little bit different with the lunge. Both knees bend deep. Back knee hovers inch. Relax your shoulders back and down. From your core, twist left. Breathe, please. You got the posture. You're doing it. A lot of you guys know where I started yoga in about the end of 2005, 2006. I remember going to my first yoga class. I was an athlete, like lifting weights all the time, and sprints, and playing soccer and basketball. And I went to this power yoga class and got my butt kicked. I was in the back, like laying on the floor in this packed room. And I remember just being destroyed after, and I was like, wow, I love this. And all we did was hold poses. We never did any flow for like most of my beginning journey. I love that kind of disciplined approach to the yoga practice, all right? Stand up, please, top of your mat. Take a mid-class meditation. Just slow down for a moment. We got basically 2 more standing postures for now, and then we're going to be back down on the ground. That's where we revisit side plank, locust, and then our first big inversion practice. Okay? So our next posture is warrior 2. Right foot back. Just make sure you're kind of consistent in the footing. Arms go wide. Right toes angle forward. This is usually the longest, deepest lunge. So the front knee can bend a little deeper because the hips open, and you can get your feet a little bit more further apart because the hips are open to the side. Here's where we go, arms wide, preparing for side plank arms. Gaze forward, deep breathing. Now work on, again, pressing the outer edge of both feet down, and then also the big toe down. So nice little equal there. See if you can hug your feet together, like energetically. It's almost like you're bunching your mat up. Roll your back hip in a little, roll your front hip out a little bit. So internal and external respectively there. A little lift in the side body, squeezing of the pelvic floor. Shoulders roll back and down, elbows straighten. And if you can try it, you turn your palm up. The goal is to laterally rotate the upper arm, but then keep that elbow crease up and roll your palm down. So from the upper arm bone, it rolls externally, but the lower arm bone, you could say it's pronates, but rotates internally. That's the same thing in down dog, plank, handstand, and side plank, okay? Go slow, yogis. Meditative. Step forward. Left foot back. Warrior two. Take your time. But eventually establish yourself in a form where it's intense and you get to do a lot of deep mental, emotional, physical work. It's important that exercise is emotional, both fun and stressful, okay? Close your eyes, please. I want you to go slow, right? If that wasn't long enough, you take longer. Try to find some days where you start to discipline yourself to stay longer, all right? That's key. You do the lunge longer than even the teacher says, you're really starting to develop that kind of will at that point, okay? Standing, please. Step to the middle of your mat. Final standing pose for now, and then it's side plank, locust inversion. Handstand, forearm stand, or headstand, okay? Or legs up the wall. Warrior three, different arms. If you have it, reverse prayer, all right? So we've done some eagle, that's in front. We've done the arms up here, we've done the arms up here. Reverse prayer starts like this. Then it's out elbow. The alternate option is this. This is the main bind to start behind us. It's not Gomukha Asana, it's not a reverse prayer. But this is the one here, Sushumna. Okay? Reverse prayer, more turning my palms together. Lifting the arms up, pulling the elbows back. Cover your left foot, please. Hinge, chest, legs parallel to the floor. Now, if it's easy, work on lengthening through the core and the legs, straightening the right leg more, engaging. Drop your left hip down. Press your palms together and the elbows go up, back in space. And I know a lot of you might want to throw in like a pyramid. You know, there's a lot of traditional practices. We're not doing side angles today. Some of the most classic yoga, but my first 5 years of yoga, we never did triangles. We never did one down dog, never did one pigeon, never did a lot of these postures you see in like the Western, and particularly at LA kind of vinyasa yoga for. All right, stand up, please. Keep reverse prayer if you can. If you're here, switch the opposite pinky. Roll those shoulders back. Remember that this is from our postural correction series. This bind is used in the modern, like crazy, for the postural correction. Okay? Right foot hovers, hinge. Right leg and chest moving in unison. Breathe, yogis. And I see some of you taking hands to the floor blocks. I see some of you going to handstand hops. Beautiful. They're all the same. Hopping up to one-legged handstand L is the same body form. And so is having a supported hands on the floor. Now, in the traditional yoga, they might say, just don't go as deep. Only go as deep as you can to maintain the core strength, right? Because as soon as you go too low, you're in hyper range and then disengaging muscles because you're putting hands on the floor. So traditionally, they might say, just go here instead of putting your hands on the floor. or here, or here, right? You're starting to lean forward on one leg. And in modern fitness, you add weights, right? So you're doing stuff like this with a weight, but we don't really do that anyway. Now, can you go really slow, guys? All right? You're gonna stand up. So that was twisting lunge, balancing chair, warrior 2 and warrior 3. All these standing big asymmetries. What's always the thing we do, right? Symmetry, which is yogi squat. Now, a couple options. You can do your crow, right? You can, if you're really good at yoga squat, maybe lifting up a little bit. I tend to be really good at yoga squat. I'm good at just releasing my muscles these days. So I tend to, your teacher says yoga squat in class, I lift the butt a little bit, okay? So it's more like I'm in the depths of my squat, but then I lift to have it be active. I'm able to dump too deep into it. I talked about this fascial system. We want the tension to stay within the muscle, all right? There comes a point in the postural journey of the yoga forms where you get too flexible and you can disengage, and all that strain goes through there's all these types of connective tissues, and some are like right in the joints. There's like joint capsule, labrums. There's, these ligaments connecting bone to bone. We don't necessarily want to pull those apart. They're actually meant to be tight and taut. So we don't want too much strain on those. They're stabilizing connective tissues. Tendons are a little different story. But once you get really flexible, guys, start to lift up, especially if there's a lot of weight in the form. All right, guys, take a minute, step back. Now we go side plank. You can do forearm, you can do flip dog, you can do one-legged, you can do binds, you can do fallen triangle, or high plank, heels left, side plank. Top arm might reach forward. If you're feeling good, top leg might lift. I mentioned stuff like this, any space in a balance of your side body is good. You can drop a knee and be on the easier side, or come down to your forearm and your shin for half. Don't ever forget this, guys. This is usually our first side plank right here. It's not hand and knee down, it's this. This is actually a true side plank, okay? This is a little bit more like a half moon. Still good, but just so you're seeing the difference there. Wow, we're on pace to do my whole class here. Most of the times I plan 3 hours worth of class. We're halfway done, and we're over halfway done with my poses. Yay. So we're gonna go right to our second side. It's side to side. That's the classic Hatha, okay? You know the drill here. No cues. Just work on engaging your muscles, your hand and your butt, your thighs. And relax in places you're too tense. Last few breaths in your second side. I know side plank is done a lot, but it is a posture. You got to show extra caution. It's known to make people's lower back sore and shoulders very sore. That is a sign that the body's getting stronger. That's actually a sign of what they call muscle adapting, but really full side planks only on good days. And I'm really only going to do one round of that, guys, so you can do more if you want, but I want to bring it to the back body. Symmetry, forward bend, side tension, anti-lateral flexion, and here we go down to the chest. After this, we're going to go strong on the arms. Strong inversion will be dolphin, one-legged dolphin, headstand, forearm stand, or handstand for a good 2 minutes at least. So here we go, locust. I want to go arms wide, same arm pattern. So we're just like this in side plank in the arms. We did it earlier in warrior 2. We want a lot of these arms wide, and locust. We will do 2 rounds here. Let's see if you can squeeze your legs together, point your toes, lift legs, lift chest and arms. Lengthen through neck, lengthen through limbs. A couple breaths here. Close your eyes and see if you can work breath quality in a posture like this, where the full body is really tense. So this is actually now an anti-flexion posture. Your hips want to flex, your spine wants to flex. In the knees, you're working active flexion, right? Or extension, right? But it's basically all anti-extension. Your knees are trying to bend. Excuse me, anti-flexion. Your knees are trying to bend. Don't let them. Straighten that knee by engaging your thigh. Point your toes more. Don't let your ankles flex. Your spine wants to come down to the floor. That's flexion. Don't let it. Okay? Reach those arms wide. Straighten those elbows. Your elbows want to flex. Don't let it. So you lift up to a heightened active range and the body wants to try to relax down. So that's why I use that word like anti-lateral flexion. In side plank, your body wants to side bend. Don't let it. Whereas earlier standing, we did lateral flexion, right? Okay, take a little rest. Maybe turn an ear down, maybe windshield wipe. Guys, keep going. We got a little bit more strength. And then we're going to take a little bit more of a stretch practice, okay? But we're still kind of in activation. Usually about 3/4 of a class like this is activation, okay? Second and final round. Now you want a little bit more, yogis. You could do bow if you wanted to reach around and grab the top of your feet. If you know how to do king locust, you're more than welcome. Another fun option is the extended locust. So you're on your chest and you reach your arms like that. It's more of a lever, right? There's more weight. It's more of that handstand approach where you're reaching forward. You lift your chest and your arms, and you lift your legs. So it's as long as you can make the lever, the body's weight. But the same idea is lift up. Your body wants to relax down. Don't let it. Hold that position. Relax your neck a little. So final round here. Nice. Some of you is doing bow or even one-legged bow. Nice job. And you don't have to lift too high. You can lift an inch. And then your body's going to want to go down. You don't let it. Okay? Big inhale, yogis. Little breather, slowly lower down. Let me demonstrate. You're going to go to child pose. So now we enter what's called inversion practice. We've warmed up arms and legs. We've actually done quite a bit of stretching, but in active forms. So easiest inversion is a 2 to 3 minute child pose hold. Second relaxing inversion is butt against the wall, legs up the wall. A little bit more, block under your butt. A little bit more, use your feet to lift your hips, hands here. This is how you get into shoulder stand. My hands are on my glutes, lower back. Look how I get out, feet lower down. 2 to 3 minute hold, legs up. Shoulder stand is what I just showed against the wall. Here's third option. These are all tiers of difficulty. Fourth option, dolphin hold. Pull your chest through your arms. Relax your head. Next option, one leg high. You can do this in down dog or on your forearms. Next option, against the wall, either headstand, crown down, in the back of the head, a little hop, finding your wall. Press through the crown of your head, press through your elbows. This is weight bearing on your neck though. Notice my elbows aren't wide, they're hugged in. I'm breathing. You can also do tripod headstand, forearm stand against the wall. Or if you want to go big, yogis, yes, it's forearm stand at the wall or in the center of the room if you can. Handstand hold at the wall. There is our spectrum of inversions, starting with child pose and legs up to handstand or forearm stand hold at the wall. Or in the center of the room is really that end game there. So inversion practice, head below heart, breathing. If you were in my inversion workshop on Sunday, you started to understand how all the different inversions have different effects in the brain, the cerebral area. So sometimes I feel like I need blood flow in the back of the brain. I'll do shoulder stand. Sometimes I feel like I need blood flow in the front of the brain. I'll do dog hold or child. Some days I need blood flow in the crown, headstand. Some days I want a power inversion, forearm. So there's different qualities and effects. It's not just one is more difficult, okay? I'm going to give you another 2 minutes. It's inversion practice. It's classic in Hatha Yoga. Get your head below your heart and remain breathing. No more distraction from me. 1.5 minutes. Nice, Dessa. Nice, Brian. Nice, Darlene. Nice, everyone. Nice, Leslie. So legs on the couch is a nice option. You can be really soft, right? Breathe, guys. Last good 45 seconds here. Now, if sometimes in inversion class, we'll go 5 or even 10 minutes. If it's a 90-minute class, when we come to a Dharma Hatha, he'll just say, okay, inversions. And it'll be like, sometimes in New York City, where I really developed a lot of my practice back in the early 2010s and teens, there'd be, 50 people in class or more, 70 when Dharma was teaching. And you're in an hour and a half. They just say to be determined. It's like, class starts at 9. We don't know when it's going to end. Sometimes it's 2 hours. And then, he would say, okay, 10 minutes. Let's all get upside down. And all around the room, everyone's doing their thing. They understand the benefits and the effects and what an inversion is and for. And then we just work on what we need that day. Some days it's crazy stuff, 1-arm handstand on your best days. And then some days you're just in Shabbos. Depends on what you did, how you're feeling, right? Apply accordingly. All right, guys, so listen. We're going to slowly meet in a quick seated meditation. Remember how class started? After all that blood flow to the brain, it can be very kind of stimulating. So you just take a moment to kind of ground and center. Uh-oh, the crazy girls here. All right, so here in the end, guys, we have a couple more strengtheners. Hollow body, a core exercise, and then we'll do bridges or wheels. If you'd rather do camel or something, that's fine, okay? But it all starts with that last anti-extension now. So think of it as the opposite of wheel. So you notice we didn't do cobras and stuff today, right? You're always welcome to throw that stuff in today. We do that most days. So it can start with a bridge hold. Now, just to be clear, this is going to be a hip flexor dominant. I don't teach this that much because of that. Most of us don't need tighter hip flexors. So I like to bring it to the lower back, press my lower back down, lift my chest. That is really going to engage my abs to get that flexion. And then from there, I reach my legs forward. So it was about as high as that. Now, as your legs go forward, it creates that idea I call the lever weight that's going to want to peel your lower back up. So press your lower back down. If you want more, reach your arms back. You could do a little rock. You could do a little bounce in the legs, okay? But in traditional Hatha Yoga, they hold the boats. So it's not really traditional to like rock the legs or, to do like, what do they call that? Bicycling. Traditional yoga, we hold the boat. You could do one leg up. We do that twisting boat here, where I twist outside the right leg. So, right, if my right leg is up, I twist right. Same principle. Okay, so it's a boat hold for another good 30 seconds. You get one strong round, like we do the boat holds, 1 or 2 minutes, sometimes 90 seconds, just hold, boom. It's like plank, but it's funny because your body wants to go in extension. When you're in plank, your body wants to go down here. But here you're in the same tension plank, but your body wants to go here. So even though I always say they're very similar, it's a different like tension pull or anti-action. A lot of times people are like, don't do both of them, but they're actually very different, even though same body form. Now I want to save time in the end here for classic Hatha is the back bending practice. I wouldn't recommend stretches because I'm going to do that as a group. So I would recommend active. Some options include bridge, wheel, one-legged bridge. We have up table, which is kind of between those. We also have reverse plank, okay? So those are 4 really good active approaches to your back body. In yoga, we call them back bends, okay? So peak ones when I'm feeling good is this. Maybe one-legged if I'm feeling really good, or the wheel. I'm going to try to give you time for 3 rounds. After this, it is stretching time. I will give a couple active stretches though. So it's 9:43, 2 to 3 minutes maximum. I want a nice time to do meditative, passive, static stretching. Some of you guys know that you come to the flex class a lot with me, and there's the 4 main categories of stretching. When I was in myology, I remember comparing like 30 to 40. We had it wasn't myology, I'm sorry, it was kinesiology class with Dale Perry, and we were comparing all these types of stretching studies. And PNF is usually considered the best, right? But you can't really do that alone. What's considered the best type of stretching you can do to increase flexibility the fastest? It's static, passive stretching. It's not ballistic. It's not dynamic. So even though we do those a lot, I do try to give you every week, we have to do about, in any muscle group, they say about 6 to 9 minutes of a static stretch to really increase flexibility fast. And that's straight from the scientific articles, all right? So we're gonna try to spend a little extra time today. So we got 1 more minute, guys, of back bending. If you really want to improve your back body, it's wheel or reverse plank. We already did locust. Now it's weight-bearing versions, right? And if you're in more therapeutics, you're in bridge. Back body strengthening, guys, okay? Nice, Brian. So, you're going to finish up your last back bend here. When I do a strong, some days I'll go really big. I'll do tons of wheels, but I'll do wheel push-ups and movements. But, usually if I do like 3 wheels, I'm like, okay, I can really feel it at the end of my workouts or even in the middle. I got to be really warmed up for wheel usually, just to make it feel not too painful. And we talked about that a lot. It's good. It's good to have postures uncomfortable and painful. That's called dynorphin response. It makes you more sensitive to endorphins. When you're in a posture and you want to leave it, there's so many good things happen. You guys know endorphins, right? Opposite, in a sense, is the dynorphins. When you want to leave a posture and there's a lot of mental, emotional stress, your opioid receptors get filled with dynorphin and make it more upset. It's been proven to help with depression and anxiety and stuff, right? To do stuff that's uncomfortable. And wheel, man, it's like that, they call it like a dynorphin response. Like you really, immediately you're like, oh,
how do I hold this? Huge dynorphin response, really good for you.
All right, guys, stretch time. Happy baby to start. Or plow for my intermediates. Knees into the chest for my beginners. So we're gonna do that classic seated stretching routine, commonly taught in the Vinyasa yoga, or excuse me, in the Hatha yoga, all right? Make your way up to seated when you're ready. So if you think of the 3 stretches here, hamstring, outer thigh, and front thigh, okay? We're gonna start, it's all single leg today. If there's other things you wanna do, I understand, but we do a little less of this. It's good to switch it up. Let's confuse our muscles. Right foot in, left foot forward. Inhale, sit up. Arms can go up and forward fold to the left leg. Just a few breaths. You see how I actively push? If I relax my leg, that's as far as the right leg will go. You see how it's still hovering? But look how I push the outer edge of my shin and knee down. That's active, creating range of motion, right? I developed a lot of that. This used to be one of my tightest stretches, the butterfly. It still is, you can see. So I'll sit like this against the wall, and I'll take my 25-pound dumbbells and I'll just put them right here. And I push down. You can just do it with your hands too, but you can really relax here. It's such a good stretch here. Be sitting with a tall spine and going like that with weight. And then sometimes I'll even do like that for strengthening. Switch sides, please. Shake your legs out. Left heel inside. Think like a tree posture. It's right up against that inner thigh. I twist over the right leg. I reach my arms high. And then I go ahead. Breathing, please. So the true beginner krama here, guys, is 5 stretches. Maybe we can do them all. I think we got time. Go slow, please. This side might not have been as long. I went on a little ramp there, so about that thigh thing. Okay, come back to center. Now, second part, I was going to skip, but we got time, I think, so let's do it. It's back to the first side. Same thing, heel inside knee, but then I open the leg to the side. And look, I turn the top of the foot downward. So it is a little different. It starts like that, but now leg out, the top of my foot, look, see how the outer edge of my foot's down? I turn the top of my foot down. You see that little difference there? Okay, left hand inside left knee, right arm up and over. Side stretch, please. And as I go left, my right hip wants to lift and my knee, I push it down. As I side bend left, I turn my chest up to the left. So it's that same quality that we did earlier. As I go here, I turn my chest up to that right, excuse me. As I side bend left, I turn my chest up to the right. A little bit. Please go slow. This is a very big stretch routine here, okay? Second side. Everyone get, so this is called more of what we call like a konasana. It's the outer edge of the foot down. We do that sukhasana. This is where I go siddhasana, where I roll the top of my foot down and my heel is starting to almost roll upward. Let me just show you up close, just in case.
The first part, outer edge of foot is down. You see that? Like that. Now watch the second part. There's a difference there, okay? Right hand down, left arm up and over.
So that would be peak range of motion in the lateral body, right? There's the medial here being pulled away, up and over. All right, now go slow, back up. That's second stretch done. Third stretch is the outer hip. So we did hamstring, more inner thigh and side body. So in the first Krama series, it's this seated figure four. Right ankle heel, the top left knee area. See that? And then bend left knee, sole down, flex right foot, right knee pushes away, chest lifts. 5 breaths. Try to stretch your shoulders here. See how I actively roll? I'm not here. See the difference? Watch my chest, shoulders, and arms. I'm using this to stretch my chest more. It's kind of like this one again, in case you didn't get to do that as much. But you can see that kind of repetitive arm position. Please take your time, second side. This is a figure four. You get the question a lot. I can't get my shin parallel with my mat and pigeon like this. And I'm like, yeah, well, this is a good version, angled back, because it's very different stretch, right? So if I need to do the double pigeon more, the straight shin to the leg, to the mat, I do this one. So this is a good way to do that if you can't get it in the compression pigeon. When I stretch people out in my stretch therapy sessions, they're laying on their back. I do the manipulation. I stretch them both like this and like this. So here's the pigeon that most people can do. Here's the pigeon people think they have to do. Like I said, you're in that second version that more people have trouble doing right now. Okay? All right, so that completes third stretch in seated series. Fourth stretch is my favorite. It's the Vira. Right knee outside. Right knee bends, heel outside hip, get right sit going down. I am not sitting on my heel, maybe on a block. Knees together, lean back now. Quadricep. In my opinion, this is probably the stretch people need to add the most of. Overstretch outer hips, overstretch hamstrings. You may be lucky to get the quick quad stretch once. How do we stretch the quad? Mainly by bending our knee very deep. If we're in flexion, we don't get it that much like here. Even though the knee's bent very deep, we're not getting a very big chest quad stretch because a lot of the quads are covering, passing the hip joint too. So we gotta extend the hip in compound. Second side, please. Sit up, release leg. There's more advanced versions in all these, right? But mainly it's just here for a lot of us. So if you know them, eventually you're on your back and you're bending your right knee and then you're bending your heel. I'm still here though in this leg. That's the whole thing.
So I was talking about the static passive stretching, yin yoga. That is basically proven to be the best way to increase flexibility fastest, right? I know a lot of the modern biomechanics for overall wellness of body. Just to remind you, the 4 categories are dynamic, look, ballistic, static, which is just stretching, which could be active or passive, and then proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. So it's hard to do, but
on your own in a lot of ways. Activate antagonist, activate antagonist, activate antagonist. Relax, stretch the target. Activate antagonist, stretch the target. So those are the main 4 categories. There's also neural stretching. There's the micro stretch, they call it. And then there's the energy techniques. Active resistance, in the resistance flex I do. But the best way, yogis, you can do on your own is passive static. Hold still and relax. All right? Sit up, please. Final seated position. That was 4 is the seated spinal twist. Deepest twist of class. Heel outside knee. If you want to swing your left heel around, you open your hips for that. Sit up tall and twist to the right. Right knee bent, twist to the right. This is it. Then we're going to touch our toes and meditate. Big inhale. Switch sides. If you know how to do it, if any fancy way, you're more than welcome to. Or left heel outside right knee. The goal is to try to get your left sit bone down, yogis. Because what happens is you're here. And then you're sitting on your heel. So I try to get my left sit bone down inside. And the left foot doesn't go back like Gobukasana, where I go here. It stays out like right by the knee. See that difference? Sit up, right arm outside, or just wrap around. It's supposed to be the deepest twist of class. I'd like you to finish up your final twist, a quick reaching for your toes straight, or you can lay on your back and do a little kind of neutralizer there. Now, a lot of times in the traditional yoga, once you're good at Shavasana, it's seated. It's seated, grounding, centering, relaxing, parasympathetic, in a sense, a seated Shavasana. Get good at it on your back first, though, like really good. And even though you're good at it, you still some days, a lot of days, most days, you lay on your back still. All right? So we go final meditation. Remember how class started right here? Closing that energetic circle, ending where we began, in seated, grounding, still, meditative space. So get comfortable. Shake it out. Take a breath or 2. Close your eyes. Final meditation, yogis.